Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the TED Show. Happy Friday, TGIF. Very excited for the weekend. Looks like it's going to be beautiful, and we're going to kick it off with some old timers from the show. You're not old, Kevin or Brian, but you've been on the show before. We have Kevin Strawter, Brian Muhich. We're going to talk about the 10th annual Help Keep Kids Off the Street Walk-A-Thon. Super excited to have you guys back. How are you today?
Beautiful. Great to be with you.
Yes. Great to be with you. I'm loving the shirts. You got all the bling. You got all the merch going on. That's awesome. I want to talk about that, obviously, but before we do, tell them a little bit about each of you and how you kind of got together to promote this.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you, Ted. This is our 10th year actually performing this walk. If we would have did it last year, it would have been the 11th year. However, due to COVID scenarios, we didn't do anything last year. We actually started off in Lake Nona, and we ended up year before last and this year doing the walk there. Kissimmee loves us. They gives us grants. They love to see us at the meetings, and we just help each other. And it's a beautiful thing on what they're doing and giving us opportunity to open up to the community and give back. Myself, I'm one of the marketeers for the walk. My job is to pound the pavement, put on the boots, kick up the dust, and receive donations, and also continuing relationship with owners of businesses and even expanding even more. So as it stands right now, we've got some goodies. We can't tell you what it is, but we need you to show up, pull a raffle ticket and walk. And if your number is called, you're probably going to jump and scream this year. So that's part of my job, and that's where we're at right
Brian?
now.
Yes, thanks, Ted. So good afternoon, everyone. Kevin and I, we work completely together on, just as Kevin said, doing a lot of the donations, collections. We act as co-directors really of the event. We've got a lot of volunteers too with our organization. We're Outreach Church of Jesus. Our church is the one that sponsors this event. We're not ashamed of that fact. We're really excited to be able just to bring a free event to the community. Lots of free giveaways, as Kevin alluded to. Got bounce houses out there. We're feeding the first 400 for free. So it's just something we're blessed to be able just to put our hands as being part of the work in that and faces for this event. But again, we got lots of volunteers on Walk Day, probably about 40 different volunteers, part of our organization that are all helping out to help keep kids off the street.
Also,
talk about the mission, because we've been talking about the event, but they don't know about the actual organization. So tell them a little bit about that.
Sure. So Outreach Church of Jesus has been ministering the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ since, I believe it's 1983. So anywhere it originally was just Central Florida, right? Obviously, because we're headquartered out of Kissimmee, but thanks to YouTube, thanks to Facebook, Instagram, we're global. So we have a lot of followers, supporters now that are national and international. So we're far beyond the walls, wherever we can be a help. Whoever God has us cross paths with, that we can minister the faith that has saved us and our families. We're here, we're available, we're ready to serve.
Yeah, and Ted, last time we met with you, we just blew up. I mean, really blew up. We had a lot of evangelism trips all over the nation, from Colorado to Texas to the I-10 corridor and back up 95. So we basically raised up what we got 4 churches right now?
Yeah, sister.
Wow.
Right. Colorado, Memphis, us as main campus, and then Brooklyn, New York. Yeah. And so from, I believe it's, August through November, going to hit the road again, going back up and raising churches and revealing the truth of the gospel to the communities that really don't know the hardcore truth of the Bible.
Fantastic. All right, tell us about, you've alluded to a few things about the event. Tell them again the date, where, how they can register for the Walk-A-Thon. Give them some of that really detailed information.
Sure, Ted. So it's going on August 28th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at downtown Kissimmee Lakefront Park. So if you're familiar with the Kissimmee area, just come downtown Main Street. It's the beautiful renovated park that they put quite a few dollars into, and it's paid off. It's absolutely gorgeous. So we're just walking around the park. Each lap around the park is 1 mile, and every mile walked by the community on August 28th. Again, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You're going to help raise $10 to fund programs that will help keep kids off the street.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And we're just praying for good weather, that I truly believe that God is going to spare the rain and we're going to have a good day. Just being right there on the lakeshore, lakefront there, you get a nice breeze blowing, and it's just beautiful. I mean, families were out there, they even brought their dogs to walk, and everybody was just so happy, year before last. And we're looking for a bigger and better and brighter event. It just grows each year.
How did you all pivot during COVID? I'd like to ask anybody who's coming on, sharing a charity, a cause, a group. How did you pivot during COVID? Have you changed the way that you interact with the community from an involvement standpoint? What was that like for you guys?
It's a great question, Ted. So the biggest thing I would say is it really took us outside of the walls. So instead of us just being more focused within the four walls, we realized that wherever anybody has internet access, we're available. And so we really just started taking advantage of that. Yeah. So I would say as Kevin said, our ministry has significantly increased since COVID first came on the radar early last year.
Yeah, and one other thing, Ted, we have a lot of gifts in the church, and these kids nowadays, you just give them a keyboard, give them Instagram, give them YouTube, they put it together, and it's like we have Hollywood, Ted.
Right.
We got our own Hollywood.
And Ted, of a truth, and there will be many that will be able to testify of this. COVID really, I think, launched a lot of people into a deeper, just personal self-examination. Hey, what's going on here? I mean, this is the first time we lived through a pandemic. And so this is new to like the whole world. And people that weren't real about their faith with God, I know that it really turned hearts to really start looking and making sure that they're right. And hey, we never know when we're going to say this is our last day. And so Amen. We have had a lot of people, I think, that are not new to the faith, but a lot more serious about their faith and not playing around with it. And so they really appreciate just having a local body of believers to encourage them in the way of God, so we can make sure that on that day we are right with the Lord.
Oh, and one other thing here too, and this is a major breakthrough, Ted. We have had families follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. They packed up and moved here because of the truth. The advantage of this is that with the pandemic, we could work from home.
Right.
So they packed up to come hear the truth, and they still have their job. Right. And that's no different than, any other thing. When someone wants the truth, they want the truth. So they're going to do what they can to get the truth. And it all made sense. I mean, the pandemic just shut down buildings and work zones, and your whole paradigm kind of changed.
Right.
And so when they put two and two together, wait a minute, I could work from home. I could move. I can get the truth, what I've been watching on social media. Not only that, move there, go there, feel it, breathe it, and you'll see the love.
See the love. All right. What's the best way for them to reach you two? Is it on social media? Is there a website? Is there something you want them to go to find out more?
Sure. So our main Facebook page is just facebook.com/OCOJ Walk. So OCOJ Walk on Facebook. You'll be able to find our main walk page there. If you want to pre-register for the event, you can do that on Eventbrite. If you just Google 10th Annual Help Keep Kids Off the Street Walk-A-Thon Eventbrite, take you right to our page. You'll be able to pre-register. The walk is free. So although you're fundraising for Christ-centered programs, it's truly a completely free event. So it doesn't cost you anything to register, nothing to walk, doesn't cost you anything to win the great free raffles, doesn't cost you anything to eat, drink. Just come on out that day, bring your family. It's just a wonderful family-friendly event, completely free.
Yeah, and also on Eventbrite, Ted, on Eventbrite, we highly encourage to register on Eventbrite so that we can get a true look at our numbers to find out how many people reached out on that. And that's for future reference, so we can kind of see how the marketing is coming in and how many people are feeding to what pipelines to get to know us.
Great. All right. I'll tag all of that in the post again. You guys, great job. See, all wonderful. We're excited for August 28th with Kevin and Brian, 10th annual Help Keep Kids Off the Streets Walk-A-Thon. All right, guys, thanks for being on. We'll see everybody soon. Bye.